Anyways, my name is Stefan, as most of you guys know, and I'm going to be talking about my experiences at Ryerson, giving you hopefully some insights into what it feels like to do 4 years, or 3.5 so far, at Ryerson, and hopefully you guys can take something from what I say today and apply it to what you guys want to do. And if not, I just hope that it's a good learning experience, because I think any knowledge is good. So the first thing I'll start with is by saying that I don't think it's easy to put 3.5 years of experiences into a 10-minute speech. I think it's a pretty hard thing to do. You gotta pick and choose really the most important things. But I'm gonna give it a shot. The first thing I'm gonna say is give you guys a little anecdote. My first official practice at Ryerson was in my first year, the training camp, where we used to train in the old Kerr Hall gym, and it was 2 weeks long. So my first thing was, I remember the TTC wasn't working that day or something like that, and so I had to drive, so I get in my car, and I'm driving, and there's traffic, and I'm thinking to myself, oh no, I'm gonna be late, I'm gonna have to do burpees. I finally get to the gym, and Mirka's like, come on, hurry up. And I'm like, oh, okay, so the first thing, I'm already, oh my god. So I get in the gym, and one of the very first drills that we had to do was we were sitting on one of the end lines, the basketball sidelines, and we had to roll like a log from one side to the other one. And then we had to roll back. And I'm rolling like this, looking around going, oh my god, I'm gonna puke, going like that. I come back, and one of the guys used to play Anchi. I see him outside puking up. He had strawberries or something like that. So it was interesting, to say the least. Another thing I wanted to say was when I first came in, it was kind of intimidating. First, especially at that time, we had a huge team of guys like Chris, Luca, Greg, Brett Penrose. These guys were all huge, 6'7", 6'8", massive, 230 pounds. I'm just there looking around, oh, do I even belong here? Is this for me? It was interesting, to say the least. But some of the guys were really good. They took me in. They tried to help me out a lot, especially with starting to weightlift, because I hadn't really done much of that stuff beforehand. So finally, starting to go to the gym and weightlifting and those kinds of things and exercises, and it was nice. A lot of the guys were trying to help me out as much as they could, so that was the nice aspect about them. In my second year, some of you guys know, maybe some of you guys don't, in my second year, the first semester, I got appendicitis, and I had to have a surgery, so I was out for the entire first half of the season, which sucked, because we started the season off with a huge win. We played McMaster at home, 5-setter, Alex aced them for the last point. We were all so happy and stuff like that, and then I don't know how many games we lost after that. It was it was not fun, especially watching from the sideline, wanting to contribute but not being able to. It was an interesting experience, and something that, in hindsight, I'm glad it happened, because it kind of let me mature and grow in a different way than maybe if I had the opportunity to play. So I think that was really big for me. To happen in second year, and I think that helped me out the next year, kind of bounce back and play better and get stronger and those kind of things. Most guys, when they do the senior speech, they usually come up and say it's a privilege, whatever, to play and stuff like that, and cherish your memories, because they're going to have them for so long. It's a short period of time. I totally agree with that. But I think I'm going to do a little something different, because me and Robbie both, we were talking about it, it seems like every year when people do the senior speeches, it's kind of jabbing at the same point. And maybe we will be jabbing at the same point too, but hopefully we can put our kind of unique spin on it, so that we're not exactly kind of reciting and dictating the exact same stuff that's been kind of put out there and regurgitating. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, I'll be giving 7 of my tips, I would say, for success at university on the varsity athletic level, the stuff that I've accumulated throughout the 3.5 years. And I think a couple of them might be related to some of the exercises we were doing. Luca and Chris did a really good job a couple of days ago when we were doing those exercises. Some of them might be related. That's only because really there's a lot of important stuff in there. So I'm going to probably cover at least a little bit of it. So the first thing I want to say is, I think one of the most important things is to build relationships. I think that when you come to university, especially, it's hard for me because I've always been commuting. I've never kind of lived on res, and it's always really tough to meet people when you're not around and stuff like that. But I think that people should make an effort to try and meet as many people as they can, because really it's going to help you out later in life. Like, there's going to be, networking is going to be very important, whether you want to do volleyball or whether you want to go out into the workforce and do some other stuff. I think networking is one of the most important things. You know, there's an old saying that, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know. So, like, really, if I could go back, I think maybe one of the things I would change is to just kind of try and go to like more of the networking events and try and get more kind of, you know, interrelated with the people that are going to be maybe hiring me or looking at me and stuff like that. And I think that's it's a great opportunity because Ryerson has a lot of good events for that. So that's the first thing. The second thing I would say is to be proactive and unique, because employers, coaches, they're always looking for somebody that stands out. You know, people when they're picking people for your team, whether it be on, you know, volleyball or you know, in the workforce, they're always looking for somebody who can bring something new, something, you know, add value to that particular team. And I think that's one of the most important things. So, and we've already talked about it a couple of days ago, you know, going to grab the nets or doing something before, really like unseen opportunities and stuff like that, that really kind of sets the tone and shows people around you that, wow, like, you know, this guy's really on top of his stuff and he really wants to contribute without anybody telling him. The third thing I would say would be public speaking. And like some of you guys weren't here last year, Roger did a piece about public speaking, and I think honestly it's like one of the most important things, because really in today's world, when you go and meet somebody, they're like, you're all really coming out with the same, I'll use my example, we're all really coming out with the same commerce degree. We all generally have around the same marks. Obviously there's deviations, but people that are not really necessarily looking at marks. They kind of look at that and go, okay, there's a standard, you met it. Obviously roll with the punches. All right, so we're going to continue. So you're going to have interviews where you kind of go in and the guy's going to be like, I've already gone in several of us. He's going to be like, okay, you know, you have good grades, whatever. Like, what can you bring? And really through that interview, he's going to be looking at not only your qualification, not only some extra stuff that you've done, such as being proactive, but he's going to be looking at the way you talk, the way you handle yourself on your feet. I think that's one of the most important things. In that moment, you know, in the 15-20 minutes that you have to talk to somebody, I think if you can leave some sort of lasting impression, maybe you come up with some sort of fact or you guys have something in common, but that it all kind of relates to, you know, talking, public speaking. Like, I think that's really one of the most important things. Number 4, I would say, is, for the younger guys especially, be a sponge. Absorb as much information as you can, because really knowledge is power. Like, when you guys are first coming into this, like, obviously everybody's been through the same thing. You really want to, like, learn as much as you can from people that have gone through it. Because making your own mistakes is going to hurt you way more than learning from somebody who made those mistakes. I think smart people learn from other people's mistakes, and stupid people learn from their own mistakes. I think that's even a saying. So, I mean, not necessarily stupid, but, you know, like it would be smart of you to kind of talk to people, and maybe they've gone through the same stuff that you've gone through on a general level, and understand that, you know, they've been there and they have made some mistakes that hopefully they can share with you and help you, and you don't have to make those mistakes, and you don't have to be hurt as much as maybe necessarily they were. Number 5, I would say, try to learn the system, the schooling system, as best as possible. I think my experience in my first year, I didn't have very good grades. It was tough. Like, you know, it was just getting used to university life. You know, commuting an hour and 15 minutes there, back all the time, having practices, going late, like, you know, a couple hours a week, and it was just really hectic for me. Especially because first year they load you on with, like, in the business program, they load you with like 6 courses and say, oh, take all these general courses, and maybe you don't like some of them. So really, you just got to learn how to play the game. There's going to be instances where you're going to go, oh, maybe this prof isn't very good, maybe this one's very good, but I think it all comes back to talking to somebody. You can find out which prof is good, which prof is not, where you can learn the most, you know, maybe finding textbooks online or PDF files from buddies and stuff like that. It's going to save you money, right? So all these little things, like, you know, looking around for people and trying to, I think, play the system that's kind of what I've learned throughout the 3.5 years. Number 6, I would say professionalism. This is one thing that's close to me. I think I'd try as best as I can to advocate professionalism. I think always trying to be on time, maybe even, some people say 5 minutes earlier than you should be is actually being on time. So trying to be on time, trying to look for opportunities where you can show yourself that you're professional, that you're consummate. And we really want to be seen as professionals by the entire athletics administration. And I think we're doing a good job so far. So I can only say it's going to keep going up, and just keep trying to hold your professionalism. And the final thing, this has kind of been taught to me by George. Yeah, right? It's really just have fun, enjoy yourselves. Like, you have 4 years, you don't really have, kids or any mortgage payments or any serious responsibilities. Like, really, we're here playing volleyball, going to school. And realistically, it should be the best time of your life. Like, you should be having the best experiences, you're free, you can, meet a bunch of people and new experiences and stuff like that. And I think that stuff is really key, and I think George is a good example of, kind of letting everything go, not letting stress get to your head too much, and just kind of having fun in your day-to-day life. And I think that's really a healthy thing. So those are the 7 things. I don't want to go on much longer. I just have a couple of closing things that I want to say. To the second-year guys and above, keep doing your thing, keep pushing through. You guys will be good. Hopefully next year maybe I can come to some games watch. I know you guys are going to continue to get better. To the first-year guys, I would say you guys have a really bright future. I would say that the guys that came in this year, this is going to be one of the best recruiting classes Ryerson has had in a while. And I know you guys are all great. You're going to do really big things. So just keep your head up. If you're ever in a down spot, kind of look to somebody older, and I'm sure they'll help you out. The next, I want to thank Danielle, even though I can't really see her. But I want to thank Danielle for coming with us on this trip and providing really good support. I think the things that she said, especially for meeting with Lucas, was really good. And I think that's helped me out at least a little bit. Next, I want to thank Luca, Chris, and Lucas, not only for assistant coaching, but for helping me out, because I played with most of you guys, not you, Lucas, but I played with Luca and Chris. And
you're a host.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean Ryerson-wise, but obviously you guys have been great, and I just want to thank you guys for what you've done for me. And finally, I want to thank Mirek. I think that without this opportunity, I think I wouldn't be who I am today. As cheesy as that sounds, I think it really is the truth. So I'd really like to thank you and all that you've done for me. And as a closing statement, I really think that Mirek does a wonderful job. Not just Mirek, mostly him, but of this training camp. I think this camp is really an amazing opportunity for all of you to grow, to mature, to learn things about yourselves, to learn things about the guys with you, and to just relax, have fun, train, and kind of get better. And I think that as long as this Cuba trip goes on, you guys are going to be great. It's a really one-of-a-kind thing. I think if you look to other programs, I don't think anybody really has anything that comes close to this. So just keep doing what you're doing.